everyone, my name is Claire Donovan. I'm 34 years old, a single mom, and about 6 months ago, my family sat around my dining room table, in my house, and voted to take my daughter's bedroom away from her. And I know that sounds unbelievable, but what makes it worse? My daughter was sitting right there in the corner. She was 7 years old, and not one person in that room looked at her face when they raised their hands. I want to tell you everything, because if you've ever had a family that treats you like furniture, useful, invisible, and easily rearranged, you're going to understand every single word of this. Let me give you some context. I'm the middle child in a family of 3. My older brother Marcus has always been the golden one, charming, loud, the kind of man who walks into a room and my parents immediately stand a little straighter. Then there's my younger sister Jade, who married well and moved across the country. She gets a Sunday phone call and almost no drama, lucky her. And then there's me, the dependable one, the one who stayed close. After my divorce, I needed somewhere stable to land. I ended up buying a 5-bedroom house, big enough for my parents to move into because my dad's health was declining and I didn't want them struggling alone. I was raised to believe you take care of family, so I did. That was 3 years ago. My parents took the master suite on the ground floor. My daughter Lily got the yellow room upstairs, the one she painted herself, with little sunflowers along the baseboards. She loves that room more than anything in this world. It's where she does her homework, where she keeps her stuffed animals lined up on the windowsill, where she falls asleep every night feeling safe. My brother Marcus and his wife Renee used the 2 guest rooms whenever they visited, which became more frequent after Renee got pregnant last year. And here is the part that my family had somehow conveniently stopped thinking about. I paid the mortgage. Every month. All of it. My parents contributed what they loosely called household expenses, groceries sometimes, a utility bill here and there. But the $2,400 monthly mortgage? That was me. My salary, my savings, my name on the deed. They never acknowledged it. I never made a big deal of it, because they're family. I wish I had made it a big deal sooner. If you've ever quietly carried something heavy for people who never once noticed the weight, you already know exactly where this story is going. It started at Thanksgiving. Renee had just had the baby, a boy named Carter. And the moment they walked through my front door with that infant, something shifted. My mother cried in a way I had never seen her cry, not even at Lily's birth. My father held Carter for a full hour without putting him down. Marcus stood in the center of the living room like he had just won something, and Lily, my Lily, ran in holding a drawing she'd made at school. Bright colors, a family in front of a house. She held it up to her grandmother with both hands. My mother said, "That's sweet, honey," and turned right back to the baby. I watched my daughter's face. She didn't say a word. She just slowly folded the drawing and put it in her pocket. That was the moment I should have spoken up. I didn't. By Christmas, Marcus and Renee had been staying with us for 3 weeks straight. Carter needed a quiet room. Carter needed blackout curtains. Carter needed a space that wasn't, quote, so far from the master suite. Their guest room was apparently too inconvenient. Then on Christmas Eve, I came home from work to find my entire family sitting around my dining room table. My parents, Marcus, Renee, and Lily, sitting alone in the corner with her coloring book, already forgotten by everyone in that room. My mother looked up and said, "Claire, we were just talking. We think it makes the most sense for Carter to take Lily's room. It's closer to us, it's bigger, and honestly, Lily is old enough to adjust." I was still in my coat, still holding my keys. "Lily is 7, I said. "She's adaptable," Renee replied, and she smiled at me like she was doing me a favor by explaining my own child to me. Marcus nodded. "We already looked through some of her things. We can move her into the small room at the end of the hall. She'll be just fine." They had already looked through her things. I looked at Lily. She was staring at her coloring book, not coloring, just staring, her small hand resting flat on the page. My dad, who slept every night in a bedroom I paid for, looked at me and said, "It's just a room, Claire. Don't make this into a whole thing. Don't make this into a whole thing." I thought about that for exactly 3 days, and then I made it into a whole thing. I didn't yell that night. I didn't cry. I said very quietly, "We'll discuss this tomorrow." Picked up Lily's coloring book, took her hand and walked her upstairs. I tucked her in, sat on the edge of her sunflower bed, and she looked up at me and said, "Mama, do I have to give my room away?" I told her no. I told her this was her home. Then I went back downstairs, opened my laptop, and called my attorney. Here is what my family had conveniently forgotten. Every document tied to that house had my name on it. The deed, the mortgage, the homeowner's insurance. My parents had no lease. Marcus and Renee had no lease. Not a single person in that house had ever signed a single piece of paper giving them any legal right to that space. My attorney said I could begin formal notice proceedings immediately. I asked how long I was required to give them. She said 30 days was the standard. I said, "Let's send the notices right after New Year's. I want them to enjoy Christmas first." I spent the rest of Christmas being completely normal. I cooked the food, I wrapped the gifts. I watched my parents fawn over Carter while Lily ate her Christmas cookies quietly by herself. And I smiled through every single minute of it, because I already knew how this story ended. On December 27th, my attorney sent 3 formal notices to vacate, one to my parents, one to Marcus and Renee. I was in the kitchen when my mother opened hers. She read it twice. Then she looked at me. "What is this?" "It's a notice to vacate," I said. "You have 30 days. The silence in that kitchen was the loudest thing I have ever heard in my life. Marcus came downstairs. He saw his notice on the counter. He started talking, loud, fast, angry, something about family and betrayal and how I had completely lost my mind. I let him finish. Then I said calmly, "I've been paying $2,400 a month for 3 years. That's over $86,000. You all live here for free. You tried to take my 7-year-old's bedroom, and not one of you looked at her face when you voted." Nobody said anything. "You have 30 days, I said. "The house will be in good condition during that time. I wish you all the best." And I walked back upstairs. They were gone by January 15th. My parents found an apartment in a senior community, honestly nicer than I expected, and something they probably should have done long ago. Marcus and Renee moved in with her parents. And Lily? Lily redecorated her yellow room. She added a new row of sunflowers along the top of the wall, bigger ones this time, with her favorite orange centers. She sleeps there every night, safe, in her home. A few weeks later, she asked me if Grandma and Grandpa were mad at me. I told her the truth. I said, "A little bit, yeah. But sometimes you have to choose between being liked and being someone your daughter can be proud of." She thought about that for a long moment. Then she said, "I'm proud of you, Mama." And that, right there, was worth every single dollar I ever put into that mortgage. If you've ever been the quiet one, the one who holds everything together while everyone else takes the credit, I see you. Drop a comment and tell me your story, because I promise you, you are not alone in this. And if you think I went too far, I genuinely want to hear that too. I've asked myself 100 times whether I could have handled this differently. Maybe I could have, but then I think about Lily folding up that drawing and slipping it into her pocket, and I know I made the right call. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.